great.
It actually is great.
It is. You know, it's this is an interesting opening, but all of those things you just shared pre going live it's tough. It's not tough. I shouldn't say that. It's welcome guys to the next episode of the podcast. We just wanted to just hop in here truly and just hang out. Danielle and I chatting shop, giving you also an update of kind of where we're at with our business acquisition, our individual acquisitions, all those various things to just give an update of life and all the things. We've been super quiet because we've been busy, not because we've been lazy and we haven't been wanting to do a podcast. It's just been crazy. But what you mentioned a minute ago prior to this going live is just what your day has already entailed. And it is 10 a.m. on the West Coast. And more recently, I'm not sure. I may have shared it with you, but I was in a Zoom the other day where someone shared with me in that Zoom that their car was actively getting repossessed.
Yeah.
Then literally a few days later, he goes, my other car got repossessed because it's from the same bank. So they take both of them. Okay. And that one had a bunch of equity in it. You could call it value, I should say. And then they had a mortgage payment due last Friday of like $8,500. And they have 4 kids and they have 3 dogs. And I'm sure and then the wife threatened the D word.
Oh,
so all of those things that you come to me with prior to this meeting and the things that I got going on, like I put a property under contract yesterday that the sellers of that property sent me the formal cancellation, the one on our contract. They had it notarized. They sent it over within the same day. And so like just ran like all these little things that pop up. And I think about this. And that instance of the story I just mentioned a minute ago about the Zoom with that person is like, those are problems. Those are life problems that's difficult. And not that what you and I don't experience on a regular basis is not difficult. It is hard, but it's the hard we choose.
And I was just going to say, we chose this. And all of the things that I just told you, not even 7 months ago, I was like, I want this so bad. I want to make money like this so bad. And my meeting I just had is one step closer to me closing a complex transaction that I get paid for. So like, to me, I'm going, that's beyond a win-win-win, you know, and all of these challenges, it's funny. I mean, we've been talking about this for almost a year now. All of these challenges, they help create perspective. The next thing we're doing, the thing we're currently doing right now, the thing we did 6 months ago. I mean, the levels of complexity have withered and they're building again in another direction. So I look at all these conversations, I look at these tense transactions, these tense negotiations, and, you know, the biggest thing, which is like being able to read people and cultural differences and what people need inside to move forward with decisions in their life. And that is just such an art, and it pours into every single thing that we're doing. It also helps you add perspective, like what you're talking about right now. You know, somebody actually having a real life problems. You know, the situation I'm dealing with today, this longtime restaurateur was given no notice and is being kicked out of their facility. Their business is going to shut down. And there's no inventory where they want to be. So this transaction is so high stakes for this person. They're a local, they're not some national, you know, restaurant group. And they're going, if I can't find another place, I'm going out of business. That's that's my livelihood. I can't pay the car, the mortgage, the kids, the tuition, the tutors. Like I have to X, Y, and Z. And so we are constantly living in a world where people are up against the wall. For sure.
Yeah. You know? Yeah. And I probably see it more than you do when it comes to distressed situations as it relates to the real estate business with foreclosures and tax liens and stuff and whatnot. And so that perspective is brought to me on not a regular basis. I shouldn't say that because that isn't the case, but I know it is regular. I know it is out there all the time. And it makes me also to hold my family a little bit tighter. Grateful for the family we have and the problems we have and the things we look at and all the things anyway, but let's give updates. Let's chat about like, it's July 31st, 2025. You know, what's crazy, Daniela, is I think a year ago we started this podcast And that's
we did.
When we embarked upon that, we had no idea the journey that it would push us on, and the value truly also too, like this is for those of you out there, like just as consumers of podcasts, like which I am too. Like I have a podcast ready to go for my run today, but the value of a podcast has been huge. It's allowed us to get closer, which is great because now we're purchasing a business together, an actual business, not just like an e-commerce business. And also listen to other people's stories and journeys and their successes and whatnot that has pushed us in a direction to do certain things and make certain decisions. And so what would you like summarize over the past year for you that has been the biggest maybe mindset shift or change or whatnot? I've noticed a gear shift for you, a gear shift change. You've shifted, not that you were in a low gear, but you were in gear 4. I feel like you just went to gear 5 to me. But what would you say over the past year has been the change for you?
God, it's really hard to surmise that into a sentence. But I think that the podcast was really hard for my ego because I really don't like being public and forward facing. And so the biggest shift for me over the course of the last year has been getting over being very public about what I'm doing, which is really the only way to build a book of business and any sort of sales, right? So I had to be really public about my transaction management company. And like this podcast helped me do that. I had to be really public about the fact that that wasn't working and I needed to do something else. And this podcast, you know, we've been really methodical about the people we invite on. And it hasn't always been like, I'm just going to put this out there, right? Like our guest, it's not always about like the sexiest hit on the dartboard. It's about like strategically, what has this person accomplished, why and how? And so it's helped me reverse engineer our way to what we're doing right now. And I know for a fact we're going to call on those people because now we're friends with most of these people, if we weren't already before, and lean on them as resources. And so the whole goal with the business acquisition is to create this active income machine, not only for our lives, but so that we don't have to have those crappy experiences underwriting self-storage that's trading like 2 million above value per facility, right? It's like we could begin to then go, oh crap, we're business owners now that have too much active income. We need to depreciate our income. We need to invest. And we're no longer having this conversation that we've been having over the last year. I mean, everything this podcast is just sort of like, it's made us be accountable to each other, to the people that are interested in what we're doing, and kind of to our guests, because we're just, you know, I don't know. I maybe most podcast folks don't feel that way, but I sure do feel a sense of responsibility to do what we say we do.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man, right? Like, yeah. I don't want to just be up here talking about shit I don't do.
Right. Yeah, it's a waste of time. What value are we providing? Not only the audience, but also to ourselves. So yeah, spot on. Like I agree. I go into each one of our podcasts of like case in point. Right now, my business partner, Chris, and our business partner, Chris, and I are negotiating a 30-unit complex in Billings, Montana. Okay. Multifamily. And that property it's kind of an interesting one. And the landlord pays all of the utilities of that currently. Okay.
Oh, biggest add value right there.
Well, so like from that, our previous podcast guest, Ryan Heltemus, which is actually a good friend of mine, owns a few of them, 30-unit, 20-unit multifamily complexes. And I remember little tidbits of these podcasts and these things. And I was able to reach out to him, and he purchased a 30-unit complex that the landlord originally was paying the utilities. And he immediately implemented a flat rate fee to each tenant for utilities right off the rip. And what he noticed was interesting is that not only did he increase revenue by, let's say $100 a person, so $3,000 a month, but then also he noticed that the utilities went down. The cost of the actual utilities went down. So it was like a double whammy. And so like when we're interviewing people, there's so many nuggets and lessons you learn in terms of what they're doing in their own individual space that I'm currently not doing, that you and I have gleaned information. I would have not known that had we have not had him on here to be able to utilize that information and store those things. And so it's so freaking cool how we get to interview and learn so much information from that are out there doing the thing in their own vessel. And man, it's just, that's what's really cool is this platform is we actually benefit, but we're as much like prodding them up of what they're doing, and people need to just listen to what they got to say and go take advantage of what they're providing, you know?
It's been fun. I mean, I think more too, I think like there's a point at which, you know, a lot of people struggle with shiny object syndrome, whether you're doing real estate and investing as a side hustle or you're doing it for your full-time job. It's really, really hard to hear people's success stories and go, oh my gosh, they bought an RV park and now they're making $1 million a year, or they bought multifamily and, you know, it was just A plus B equals C. Like you buy it, you do value add and you cash out refi and you're fine. Like you hear these things. And I think by hearing them, it's helped me double down on my focus and just go, okay, like that's not for you right now. But now you know a little bit more about it.
The power of yet. It's not for me. It's actually, so Kyle Russler, good friend of both of ours, just commented, and he has a question for you, Daniella. And how did you decide to purchase a business knowing it might take away from your time building your real estate portfolio and other businesses and whatever else you're doing? What are your answers to that? You're more so with your commercial business and what you're doing there. So I guess I'll allow you to answer, and then I have a different arm. But for you, the business acquisition, what does it mean to you today, tomorrow, in the future versus your other things that you have going on?
Okay. So this is the thing, and this is very personal to me. And the more and more people I talk about, that are deeply, deeply entrenched in commercial investments, not residential, commercial investments. It's the same as residential, right? When you're in the grind and in the build, you're going, oh, I'm so hungry. It's so hard to find a deal. I need a deal. I need a deal. And in your mind, you're thinking it's so hard to find a deal, but that's not the hardest part. The hardest part is it's so hard to hold a deal. And you could be lucky. Like Landon, you've told me so many times, like, don't worry about it. The property manager handles it and X, Y, and Z. But in the background, you're not telling me the stuff that is happening with your Airbnbs that's costing you serious coin out of pocket. And if you didn't have your W-2 and you didn't have your wholesaling business and you didn't have your accountability group and you didn't have your 7 streams of income, that could really hurt you and your family. So I learned that very quickly on a residential investment. I also learned that residential is not for me. Well, okay, cool. Let's move over to commercial. Way more black and white, way more B2B, way more business oriented. However, when something goes wrong in a commercial facility, it's like, it'll kneecap you. The more commercial operators I talk to and investors I talk to, they have active income via one or multiple businesses that they own and operate, which allows them to increase their active income. When you own a business, there's no cap, right? When you own a commercial facility, unfortunately, there is a cap. You are capped by what the market can bear. You are capped by if a business that is a tenant in your facility goes dark and goes bankrupt, they cannot pay you. You are capped by how long it takes to release commercial facilities, which could be up to a year, and you have.
Oh, I think Daniella just froze. Daniella just froze. Great freeze face right there, Daniella. Thank you. Oh, that's too bad. Shoot. Well, we'll get back to her. She'll be here shortly. Kyle, I'm sorry about that, bud. But I'll answer it from my endpoint too, because I think where she's getting at is she's looking at this business much like I am, dude. An active income stream, a large one, not just a wholesale business like what we have, which does very decent and it's great. But foundationally, purchasing a business, acquiring private equity businesses, there's so many multiples at stake and multiples in play that you're purchasing a active income vehicle alongside partners that is miles above a wholesale business, obviously, right? But not only that, it's sellable at the end. So the business we just purchased is a commercial flooring business. In that landscape, in that market, in that area, those typically sell for 2 to 4x multiple EBITDA, earnings before taxes, depreciation, and interest. We're purchasing it at less than 1x. Okay. So in the world of real estate, let's relate it back. You would say that we're buying with equity in a sense. So our vision, our goal, first, stabilize. We've hired a general manager. We've brought that person in. They're going to be the general manager. They're the role of what they're doing. Here she is. There she is. She's back.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. I was just going into, so yeah, we hired the general manager, brought them in. Goal is to stabilize. And then the vision there too is that once we stabilize, that's when we can start taking the active income distributions from the business and start actually earning income from this business and real income, stable income, solid income from our clients that we've developed through delegated roles. That is a general manager, a sales rep, sales manager, warehouse, all these different people in place that are running the business. And then in X time frame, we don't know when, 5, 7, 10 years, who knows, we can then sell this business at a multiple of our NOI. And so from that standpoint, there's so much more to it. From that standpoint, yes, it's active income, but it's also an investment from an equity position too, that you can sell it in many years. And so that the word isn't gamble. The word, yes, it's risk. Yes, it's a gamble, but that sacrifice to pull away from what is, which is the wholesale business, which is other things, is worth it. Mm-hmm. Because the active income that can be received from something like this is 10x what a wholesale operation, if I was going full tilt at it, would be. So that's kind of where that comes from my end. So
it's really hard. It's really hard to pause acquisitions. Like, it's painful. Every single time I see somebody that is locking something else under contract. I mean, I'm a commercial broker. I come across killer deals every day, and I'm going, if I take this on, it'll be a distraction. If I take this on, I'll be over leveraged. If I take this on, I'm going to ignore my business. My business is my cash cow. I know we hear so much messaging around, you have to buy now because appreciation and equity pay down and tax, all of the things. Totally. But the thing is, you don't. Like, I really know what I want my life to look like now. And the biggest thing I need for my life is active income and financial stability and options. So when my active income is stabilized between commercial brokerage and the business that I'm operating and running that I previously did for a long time, so it's really not that big of a stretch for me personally, I'm going to be able to mow down opportunities as a skilled operator because I work these transactions as a commercial broker. Everything I'm doing right now is vertical. It's vertically aligned. I'm a planning commissioner that approves large projects. I'm a commercial broker that needs to sell or lease that project. I'm a flooring contractor that needs to put flooring in that contract. My active income from those things then pours into my investment strategy. We come from a community that leads investment first. I no longer believe in that. It took me 3 years to understand that doesn't work for me. What works for me is active income drive the investment trade. And in the normal world, that is normal. In the normal world, you have stupid discretionary income that you have to put into investments. You know, I was doing it backwards. That's what I discovered, Landon. I was doing it backwards. And the way I was doing it was 75 times higher risk than going back to what I know, which is business operations, mastering commercial transactions, which then helps me lower my risk. Like, it helps me mitigate my risk. The whole fail forward concept. Okay, I guess.
Yeah.
I lost 70 grand doing that. Went super fucking well. Okay, that was a part of it. But now I'm going, so that's what this is for me.
This internet you have
for me, smart or not,
is amazing. So thank you for your internet.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good. No, it's certainly, I mean, to roll that up too to other people, like, you're talking at definitely more chapter 5, chapter 7, but I think it needs to be said at chapter 1 too, because you're right, is that the push is like, you don't need to buy real estate with money, comma, but you need to have money. And so there needs to be some
Yeah.
income vehicle. There needs to be some active income vehicle that supports it. So undoubtedly my W-2 has supported our family in the tumultuous aspects of certain things to get to a level of stability, and focusing on a active income vehicle first, building that will then propel your investments and the things that you're doing. And so just starting out, that no doubt, undoubtedly should be the focus, which is where there's kind of a blend. I've kind of blended it in terms of my approach toward things, where very true, I kind of made a pivot. So originally I had W-2, right? Engineering. But then I started purchasing properties, purchasing Airbnbs, and got to a point where I didn't have money for down payments until I took the income from those properties to purchase more, or took my W-2 income to wait a year for the cash flow. Boom, again, right? And that is where I joined the community to learn all these little aspects of how to purchase it without money and all the things. But realized that the active income vehicle needs to be the base, the foundation. That's where the wholesale business developed and derived. It was like, hey, I can build an active income vehicle where I can do over 6 figures every single year in terms of wholesaling these deals. And in conjunction, vertically, I can find these home run hell yeah deals that I can take down myself as a part of it. And that was kind of the vision. And so for me now, what I'm really excited and looking forward to is building this business alongside you to bolster that active income vehicle to take down larger assets, 30 units, 50 units, or even commercial assets, strip malls, car washes, self-storage, RV parks, larger things as our active income increases. And so that's what I'm really looking forward to as well too. And so for those of you out there, certainly look and focus on the active income first before the passive income. Everyone wants passive income, but passive income, I think, is a misnomer for thinking it's margaritas on a beach, and it's not. So, you still there?
Can you hear me okay?
Oh, you're super choppy.
No.
We lost her. No worries. We'll get her back. And she's having internet issues right now. No big deal. We'll just chat through. Drop some more questions in there, guys. We can do some Q&A stuff too and chat through some stuff. Bring me some things that I can go deep on, and I can sit here for 15, 20 minutes and hammer on a question as well too. Thanks for that question, Kyle. That was great. Yeah, active income is critical, and learning how you want to level up. I'm always looking to level up what we're doing in any aspect of things. And so the vision there is to focus the efforts on the business. So just prior to this, even prior to this YouTube live, we were chatting through the new CRM system that we were implementing within our commercial flooring business, and that the CRM system is going to be instrumental to our success, and diving into how to set up leads. And so actually, let's bring her back up here. So Daniella, I was saying,
so sorry.
Don't be sorry. You're fine. So right before this meeting, Chris and I sat in and freaking went to town in FloorZap. We put in a customer, we added a measurement, we added an invoice, we converted it to a work order, we assigned it to a contractor, we scheduled it, we completed it, we paid the invoice, all those aspects of things. And what's cool is we're laughing because we're like, this is definitely not the way that they wanted us to do this, but now we know how to break it. And now we can go back to them with the questions of the workflow and whatnot. And so what's cool is Chris put together like 10 questions. He's going to go to FloorZap and go to them to ask questions about how we can customize this and how we build it out, because there's so many things that are unique to a commercial aspect business versus a residential, which is what this software is primarily for. But I think it's going to work for us. So,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah. No, that's really encouraging, because a lot of these programs are meant to help, but can actually be quite limiting for the business's operational efficiency. So it's great that we didn't like so many things that we've learned in this business transition, but one of the big things is like paying annual for tech. Do not pay annual for tech up front. Pay monthly, pay the elevated cost, and make sure that it actually is going to work for your business, because it's going to take a really long time to set up, and it's a nightmare to have to dismantle and rework that,
Yeah.
So that's really amazing. Like, it's funny. Every time you guys introduce yourselves to different people in our business, you're an engineer, that tracks, right? And Chris is like, I know nothing about flooring. And I'm like, but that is and that is what makes us so unique and is so amazing, because I don't need him to. What
Yeah.
I need is for him to do exactly what he's doing, thinking through workflows and processes. Like, the flooring industry is totally archaic. So we are modernizing an industry and utilizing tools in a way that most commercial shops are not doing. So we're kind of at the forefront of something. And I know for a fact when he says that to people, they have a red flag go in their mind, and they're going, why would you ever have somebody own this business that doesn't know flooring? And that's
Yeah.
an old way of thinking. And I
Yep.
encourage that, because they're waiting for us to fail. And
Yep.
in reality, what they don't understand is that they don't understand how to operate a business. They understand how to install flooring. But this is so much more than that. It doesn't matter if it's HVAC, plumbing, doesn't matter what kind of home service business you're looking at. It doesn't matter. Operating a business is from a completely different angle, and it actually can be replicated across multiple industries, which is why operations, you get a job as an operations director, you can move through multiple industries with that experience for this exact reason. And
Yep.
so I'm like, I hear stuff like this, and I get so relieved and happy, because I know my brain doesn't work like that.
Yeah. No,
It
same.
just doesn't.
No, he is. I'm so grateful for Chris. He's so fun to watch him in his element when he's messing around with things and building out things for us. Cause you're spot on, is that the, the value he provides isn't limited to what we're just discussing, but he is so good at what he's good at. And it's fun to watch this aspect. And once it's like, we were sitting in there looking at and thinking and visualizing what it's going to look like once we have full inventory management in place, once we have our contractors in there, that we're scheduling contractors and jobs and on the calendar, and we see multiple POs on the thing, and then we see multiple, like, all the aspects of how it's going to be built out and how we want it to flow, and the questions that now Chris is going back to our provider, our software provider, to reverse engineer of like, hey, here's what we want our outcome to look like. And so work through the inputs with me to get there. And so that's where super cool to have that that role in that business within the business, because you're right, it's replicable. HVAC, plumbing, electrical. That's why, I mean, you see a lot of vertical integration with those businesses on the side of vans. HVAC, plumbing, like cooling. It's like they figured out the business aspect of it, and then it's just implementing and getting the right operator.
It's that, and then obviously qualified technicians, right?
Right.
And that's
Right.
always been our business's weak point, is manpower, which is why the GM that we hired, you would think when you buy a new business, your main focus is, I need to grow sales. I need someone that's a sales professional, a sales director, whatever. But that's not what we needed. We needed somebody that was a manpower logistician, and that understood manpower and how to manage installers and how to increase and how to do quality control, and how it's so undervalued. But in construction, it is like the heart. You can't do anything. You can't do anything without skilled labor. And so I see us sort of propping up this business from a place that it was already established, really. I mean, it's super established business, 45 years, but it's just going to look so different. I'm just
Yeah.
like so relieved and so excited.
It'll be interesting to see in a 1-year time capsule what this does look like, how many employees we have, what roles we have hired by then, the aspect of the jobs we're doing, how it's evolved, even for your dad to see and witness. I'm looking forward to that. And that also what fires me up too, is that it was cool. I sent you a screenshot of a voicemail I received from a previous client of the flooring business. And in there, it was cool to read, "You have big shoes to fill." And so I have an obligation. We all have an obligation, almost like from an honor standpoint, of honoring his craft and his business he's held onto and built and whatnot. And I'm excited to enhance and evolve and grow that and not allow it to fail from a standpoint of even just his reputation and what he's doing and what he's built, but yet keep it going and keep charging it. And a lot of the cultural and ethical and things that he implemented daily is continuing building those things and standing behind those standards that he's developed. And evolving those too of things archaically that he just didn't look into and change and do. And so it's so fun. And that's where it ties back into Kyle's question of, this is way more fun than a wholesale deal. This is way more fun than a real estate acquisition transaction. So.
Yeah, it's wild, right? I mean, you have to make such hard choices in this. And I think like you said it about a year ago, almost really well, when we had like multiple big projects in the pipeline, and you're like, but we have to live. And it's so true. You know, we had to make choices, and I'm really, really happy with the choices that we made. You know, like I'm so happy we didn't bear down and force a self-storage deal. I'm so happy we didn't bear down and force whatever deal, like that North Carolina deal that keeps coming back to us. You know, I'm like,
Yeah.
what? You know, we have put ourselves finally in a position of going, we cherry pick, that's it. Because our plates are so full with insanely meaningful and profitable things. We're now in a position to go, I don't really need that. I don't want that. I don't want to over leverage myself. I don't want to take the risk on that. That's not a slam dunk deal. It's just not, you know? And so that part for me is also really, it's been freeing. Am I busier than ever? Sure. Like the stuff on my plate is heavy. Like this is the most intense summer I've ever had in my life. Like this has just been like absolutely wild. But it's super meaningful.
So let's get into a couple of the questions that both Chris and I had for you as it relates to kind of what you're doing on the commercial aspect of things.
Oh my gosh, my internet is so bad, you guys.
Darn.
I know. I keep freezing.
But as it relates to some of the commercial stuff, Daniella, for you, what's your current focus as it relates to being a commercial broker? Is it very much you have the tenant and you need to find the space, or you have the land, you need to find the tenant or the builder or the developer? What's your business kind of look like right now?
So I'm really entrenched and specialized in retail. So it's from every angle. So think about it like this. In a perfect world, this is the way that my transactions would look. I would help a developer find a piece of dirt. Developers don't want to commit to purchasing a piece of dirt unless they have what's called a tenant in tow. So then it would be my job to find the national credit tenant that can commit pre-purchase, like in due diligence, and execute a lease. So, and right, like Jersey Mike's, McDonald's, Chipotle, whatever. And so I get to represent on the buy for the developer. I get to represent on the lease transaction. The developer then builds the McDonald's, and then I get to sell the McDonald's as a single tenant investment sale. So it's a triple-ended transaction. So I am helping represent shopping centers, retail strips. I'm helping with the actual tenants, you know, re-tenanting them, making sure their leases are tight, bringing new tenants into this space. I'm helping reposition shopping centers and retail strips and sell them out to the market. I'm helping with all of that. And then, you know, what's weird is like multifamily and industrial keep coming back to me, and they're two asset classes I'm really comfy with, but I'm not actively working in them every day. Like right now, I was approached yesterday to help find an industrial manufacturing facility in Southern California for like a confectionery, like a candy manufacturer. And I'm like, oh, dude, great. Industrial facility. Love this stuff. Like, I'm really entrenched in development and retail, but I also will represent like other folks looking for different things. It's just, this is so fun for me. I mean, it's very similar to like, we're looking at deals, Landon. I'm looking at deals like all day, every day, underwriting deals. Like, is this the right move for my client? And it's great because I get to learn through them, you know, how to be a better operator, how to be a better owner, how to write tighter leases, how to help tenants and business owners reposition themselves, how to protect business owners that are locals and don't have as much street cred in a transaction like that. And so I feel like a lot of commercial brokers, they really want those 1031s because they're fast commercial transactions and you make great commissions on them. But what they're not doing is they're not dealing with leases. And leases are the biggest value add in any single commercial transaction. So if you don't know how to lease, like if you don't know how to push that end of the transaction, you're really not serving your client. So I'm kind of like doing a 360 view right now, a lot of development stuff. And it's been fun.
What do you foresee? I would assume for you that means that in likely 2 to 5 years, as Peacock stabilizes, active income is there, and your mindset's going to shift. And this is obviously going to move. The needle will move for you. But from a commercial acquisition standpoint for you, what does that buy box kind of look like right now? Is it land, or is it an actual existing tenant space? So we lose you?
Yeah, you did. In 5 years, how am I going to transition?
So in like 2 to 5 years for you on the commercial acquisition standpoint, what does that buy box look like for you? Is it more vacant land to work with a developer to do that? Or is it buying an existing space or with a tenant? Or what does it kind of look like for you right now as you sit here?
I think it's definitely going to be rooted in what I'm gaining experience in, because I'll be able to spot a deal within like 5 minutes. I'll be able to underwrite it, you know? I think for me, it's not going to be so much development. I like working with developers. I don't want to be a developer. But I love strip malls. I love strip malls because it's businesses and I understand businesses because I'm a business operator, right? I like single tenant spaces. I like self-storage. I love car washes. Like there's so many different asset classes where I'm going. I definitely could have a couple of those. And then you reach a point, Landon, where you go, how much is enough?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't want to get to a point in my life where I'm going, holy crap, like I'm so over leveraged, life isn't fun anymore. I want this to be fun. And so, you know, I'm really looking, right? Like I want it to be fun. I want to have fun investments, but mostly I want to hold. And, you know, commercial is all about that 5 to 7 year exit. If you're an active commercial investor, you are investing for the exit, and then you cherry pick the ones that you love and you just hold on to them forever.
Right. Okay, cool. That's super exciting. I mean, I can't wait to see what and how that develops and grows too for yourself and all the things. And as well too, like what's cool about you is you are super extroverted in that your relationships are going to continue to develop with the people you meet there locally, and then the commercial things that I'm interested to see how that buy box transitions for you over the next couple of years. And you're like, I gotta buy this deal. Like, this is a home run deal, and it pushes you in a different direction, and be a lot of fun to watch. Super choppy.
Yeah, I mean, like, okay,
Boom, there she goes. Sorry guys, this is rough. I'm sorry about this. But thank you for sticking around. Drop some questions in there too, for both either Daniella or I too. We just closed on a duplex here in Bend, Oregon, that we're turning into a sober living house. I just walked it again yesterday. She just texted me. What'd she say? Oh, she shut down over here. So she's not going to come back. No worries. So we just closed on a duplex here in Bend, Oregon. And that's where I'm at. We spend our summers up here in Bend, Oregon. We'll be back to Phoenix here in September. But the acquisition we just purchased is a sober living house. And it's going to be super fun. I walked it yesterday. Oh, she's back. I thought you were gone. I thought you were gone.
I'm trying one more time, guys. And if I
Oh, this is great. This is so clear and audio is awesome.
I'm really, really sorry.
No, it's all good. It's part of it. It's fun. This is why we do it live, to make it super fun.
Spicy, to make it spicy.
Yeah.
Like all of your sober living, like this is the relationship that you built though with this freaking operator. Like if you wouldn't have had this operator relationship, Landon.
It's all relationships. Yeah, it really is. Like we walked the property yesterday. She was so impressed. She's like, this is better than I expected it to look, which is great for us. From a what's called viability standpoint, meaning would they do what's called a viability assessment on the area and whatnot to determine our rent rate, our lease rate. And having the home in amazing shape is amazing. So that's great. But then we were standing in the living room and she asked me, she goes, how many of these can you do? And I go,
that's the conversation every freaking investor wants to have with an operator. Boom, right there.
That's it. And I go, you tell me the need, you tell me the location and the rent rate and whatnot, and I will go out and find the deals. And so for me, to your point of like car washes, I want a couple of those.
I do.
For me, I want 10 sober living facilities, because what's cool about these is that on the single family side of things, there's plan Bs and plan Cs. So number one, let me start there, is that with this property, I purchased it was a duplex. There's now 7 bedrooms where 2 kitchens, 2 bathrooms, 2 different laundry facilities. If we simply add, we have total room, we have an extra refrigerator down there, we could easily turn this into a triplex and rent out each individual unit to 3 different tenants. There's a plan B. We could rent by the room and still achieve things.
How big is the lot?
Pardon?
How big's the lot?
Oh gosh, it's probably 15,000 square feet, maybe 20,000 square feet.
So you can build a 2-story ADU too.
Totally could. And in Bend, they just approved it. You can totally do that.
Yes, they did. So you can
do that too. So the versatility of it, and what's cool too is like you make your money when you buy. We bought really good. We have a 3.25% interest rate. We have a sub $3,000 mortgage. And so it's like, from the standpoint of that, number 3, I guess, is the way sober operators, or the way the sober world works, is they do an initial 3-year lease where after year 2, they will increase the rent $200 above what the baseline was, which is I established just right now, which is $4,250 a month. So they'll go up to $4,450. And then at year 3, you'll go up again and do a 5-year lease. They take care of all the landscaping, all the utilities. They take care of filter replacements, every single aspect. You don't even worry about the property. They take care of it. They do monthly inspections with their chapter leads. Each person has a role. So from a standpoint of like, set it and forget it, I enjoy that. So for me, it's very much like, this isn't going to be like the flagship, that Landon's thing, but yeah, let's get 10 of these things.
It's a great thing to replicate because of the relationship.
Totally.
Like it is. And you're totally right. Like I was talking to my mentor the other day and she was talking to me about single tenant investment properties. Like, when you want to leave multifamily, right? A lot of people 1031 out of multifamily into a single tenant investment, like a freshly built Chipotle with a 15-year lease from Chipotle. Okay. This happens. That one location is terrible and Chipotle goes dark. Chipotle's on the stock index. So they're required and able to pay the rest of the lease. They'll stroke a check. But backfilling that space that was built for Chipotle can be really hard.
Right.
Can be really hard. And there's that gap and that investment of money and time. And so there's advantages and disadvantages to all of this. Like there's no perfect soup to nuts investment. It's a living, breathing thing. And so when people are like passive income, my 10 grand a month, I'm like, dude, shut the pie hole. You don't know what you're talking about, and that's okay. Right. Cause it's a thing you go through as a newbie. It takes time to understand that.
Yeah.
But I love the idea of you replicating this with an operator that has committed to you.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. And it's, oh man, I mean, the leases are decent too. Like they will do any repairs up to $500 on any damage to the property. So anything that happens to it, as well as rent payments. If they're late after the third, I get a late fee. Like it's so dialed. It's not as if it's just this podunk thing
Right.
that, so from that standpoint, I love it compared to a traditional, just vanilla long-term rental where you have one tenant and you hope he keeps his job and doesn't lose his cars. Right.
Yeah.
But what's cool too, Daniela, is like the conversations that we are having and how they've evolved, how our tribes have evolved, our vibe and everything we're doing. It's so cool is that our vision and our perspectives are changing and growing, and like the things we're doing and navigating. And I go to say, because I'm from Bend, Oregon. I moved away about 7 years ago. Okay. I come back here. I go back to the same gym that I used to go to when I lived here, because there's not really anything else to get here. Okay.
Right.
What's interesting is I go in there with this like refreshed mindset, this optimistic, like this fulfillment, like this thing of like reflecting back of who I was 7 years ago, 5 years ago to this person I was, where they wrote me like a goodbye card when I left the gym, like kind of thing. And come back to this and see the same people in the same position doing the same thing, complaining about the same things, watching the same show. And it's interesting, and it makes me proud of who we are becoming and who we have became, for the conversations we're having and the things we're doing and the opportunities that have been afforded to us that we know what to do with and whatnot. Like, that is a fulfilling thing, that we have grown so much in the past 2 years. We've only, you and I have only known each other for 2 years, let alone 5 or 7. So yeah, pretty cool. But
I rarely ever think about that. It's really hard for me. It's really hard for me to slow down. And yeah, I don't know why. It's really hard for me to slow down and go, oh yeah, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, would you believe what you're doing now? Like, obviously, it's a hard no. I would not have believed I'm doing what I'm doing right now. But at the same time, it's really hard for me to acknowledge those things. That's why I appreciate you as a partner, kind of like always going, hey, right? And I think that is a huge part of why I don't feel badly about not acquiring at the same time as building an active business. I'm like, I had to pick a lane.
Yeah.
And I feel really good about it. It's weird how you come full circle. And yeah, it's really neat. So are you guys moving back to Bend?
I don't, we actually had that conversation over dinner last night. It was so great. We had a babysitter and we got to do.
Well, you have support. You have support there.
Oh, and, well, we thought we did. She locked herself out of the house with our kids in the house. So, you tell me if we have support, but we sat there and we had that conversation and I mean, I won't go super deep into it, but we sat there and talked through of what do we value right now, and in the next few years as our children get older, as it relates to, what does school look like for them? Is it private? Is it homeschool? There's a new school in Scottsdale that just opened up that I'm really intrigued by. That's like, it's so cool what they do in this new school where like they do workshops at this school for like 10, 11, 12-year-olds that they actually go out and rent a property that they turn into an Airbnb and manage the cash flow and like do all the It's freaking sick. Like, how cool would it be for my daughter to learn that, And so like, but then it's like, anyway, so we've chatted through so many of those things of what that looks like. And I'll tell you, Ben's very different than it was 5, 7 years ago. It's grown. It's definitely a much larger melting pot than it was, but I'm not sure. We're still not sure about that and what that looks like in terms of location, because the Phoenix is pretty gangster and the opportunities are great. But then that brought up the exact conversation, Daniela, of what are we doing this all for? Because the lifestyle up here is awesome.
It's really hard to beat the lifestyle in Bend. It's really, really hard.
Really hard.
Especially for kids. Especially for kids.
Well, that too. It's like, I will never put my kid nothing against it. I grew up pub school, but I grew up in a small town. So like very different than a public school in Phoenix, Houston, Tampa, like these larger metropolitan areas where it's just jet pop. And because the school districts down there are not great. So you have to go private or you have to go like specialized anyway. So it's like, okay, well, what then now? Like, so it brought that whole thing up of lifestyle or achievement so I don't know. The answer is, I don't know. There's just a lot on the table. And then you throw in family dynamics and then that just wrenches in it even deeper. So
yeah, you're telling me. Well, it's a good thing that everything is always evolving because that's the thing is like, I think this is something a lot of people struggle with is my job for 40 years and I live where I live and I don't have the opportunities and I don't have the ability and I don't have the know-how and neither did I 2 years ago.
It's so refreshing and I'm so grateful for you because of that, of the being around people who I know offline when we shut this camera off are getting after it and for their family, for themselves, for me. I know that you're working out there for me. I'm working out there for you and so on and so forth. But that reminder too, I mean, my parents worked, my dad's still working the same job that he's worked, doing the same thing for years and 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 years. And watching that and knowing also too, like in the engineering world that I'm in, watching those people who have been there celebrated after 35 years with a lunch, and thinking through and so anyway, yeah, so I'm so excited to do this life with you and the journey of the business. It's going to be so fun.
Wild, man. Like I'm for whoever is still here, or whoever even makes it this far, which let's be serious, probably like not that many people.
No one's watching.
Like no one's watching this, thank goodness. But like once we get into December, it's the push, the first year from like March, end of Squad Up to March of 2026 is probably going to be one of the most intense periods of my life. And I'm so like, we're halfway through it.
That's crazy.
That's what's wild. I'm super, super excited. It's awesome. I'm so excited for all the things. And it's crazy. It's not a future thing. Like it's happening every day, every single day. You're going to get off the phone off here. You have 1,000 phone calls. I have 1,000 phone calls. We have 1,000 things to do. And, an eighth of it will get done today and we will go to sleep and it'll be fine. And we'll wake up again tomorrow. And we'll do the same thing.
You're showing up every day. And that's just the difference right there. Are you willing to be consistent and show up every single day? And that's why when I come back to this gym, I show up every single day, not in a big way, in the sense of like massive changes when I like in one instance, right? It was just incremental every single day to where I'm a completely different person. Where, I listened to a podcast yesterday that talked about this to where people could say, wow, Daniella, you've really changed. And it's because they don't know how to say you've grown.
Yeah. I was talking to Chris about this and like, we can wrap up after this, but
yeah.
What's interesting, right? He was like, oh, I hope you have a good time camping. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go sit with a bunch of people that have no idea what I'm doing. And I'm just going to go drink a beer in the corner because I'm really sick and tired of people just shutting down and their eyes going dark and me feeling like a tool.
Yeah.
And I kind of told him, we went somewhere for 4th of July that we've gone every year for years with close friends of ours, my husband and mine. And the kids have a blast. Everyone had a great time. I had an okay time. I'm like, I don't really have anything to talk about. Like, no one wants to hear about what I'm doing. No one understands. No one gives a shit how painful my life is or how heavy it is or how complex or how much I've been carrying for how long. No one gives a flying you know what. And I would rather be home spending time with my family and getting things done because it's easier for me to process that than to be sitting in front of a group of people that don't give a what I'm doing.
I can't yell that even louder how true that was. I mean, we did a trip.
Just like, I don't care anymore.
Beach here a couple of weeks ago. And I mean, Caitlin and I not gotten into it, but we chatted about this exact thing. And she goes, do we need to pack up and just go home? Because I was overstimulated, overwhelmed. All I was thinking about is our business acquisition, the real estate stuff we're doing. And that was when we did the transition from the transaction management to a different transaction manager. So I'm upstairs in the Zoom, and that was my highlight of the trip. And so I just love what we do. And that's what's really cool too, is we love what we do. It's not as if it's laborious in the sense of unbearably miserable. It's like, we're choosing to do this. We love to do it. And you're so spot on. And just those conversations too. I'm sick of being around people who, like yesterday, I mentioned we're going, my wife and I went on that date night to this new steakhouse that we've never been to. And I go into that mindset wise. I don't give a crap about the food. Yes, I want a nice steak, of course, but it's more so the laughs at the table, the conversations, the stories, the things or whatever. But I bring up that, and the same people are just, oh, that's not a good restaurant. Oh, there's a better steak over here. And they're missing the point.
You're like, God dang it, man. I just want to spend some time with my wife.
Just want to hang out.
Not everything has to be. This is no. And that, isn't that funny? Like how hard we work for money, how hard we're working. And we're like, it's not about that. It's not about like the things you're getting stuck on. It's not about any of that crap, I'm struggling a bit with that for sure, but it's okay. Cause I definitely knew the people. I just wish that all of my people were all local to me. So I could go sit on somebody's couch instead of get on Zoom with somebody that knows exactly what I'm going through. Yep. One of my friends works a full-time job, just bought 2 businesses within the last 6 months as well. And he's like, so how we doing? How we doing? And I'm like, well, every night I want to cry and vomit and quit everything. And I don't know what I'm doing. But in the morning, I wake up and I just sort of go. And he's like, cool. Yeah, same. Every night I lay face down on the carpet and ask my wife to leave me alone for 25 minutes. It's like, I feel the exact same.
I am the same way. My gosh. It's funny you say that, because I walk out of those doors right there and I walk immediately into the lion's den of a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old and my wife, who definitely needs a break, definitely needs some help, wants a minute, but I also need a minute too, because my brain is just activated and I just need silence for 20 minutes, it's so true. So we can wrap this up. This has been great. I know you got a lot going on, and as do I. My phone's blowing up too. So we'll just wrap it up from the wrap up. Zoom. All we're doing is a little wrap up YouTube live here to do another one. We'll do some more podcasts with some guests in the future. Thanks for sticking around. If you made it this far, thank you. And we'll see you soon.
We'll see you soon.